What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of Respect the Game podcast. My name is Edward, named after a trilogy, that being my pop. Shout out to my mother and my grandmother for helping raise me too. Man, it's gonna. We always say it's gonna be a great episode, and that's only because we continuously get better and better and better and better. We have full strength. Everybody in the building. What is a podcast without your brethren?
Hey man, big brother Iron Man, sir, tapping in. Shine Hard Izzo, that's Instagram, Twitter, where you can get some dope content, some live surgical pics if you're messing with that. Get your bankroll management up to par. Let's go.
Yo is the one and only host with the most blows and most smoke, Black Peace, the rap plug, the hip hop plug, Mr. Lou Will himself. Yeah, be sure to go check out Talkin Smoke on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Let's go.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is the one and only Sedacious Miles, and on behalf of me and the gang, I just want to say thank you so much for rocking with us after all this time. We really, really appreciate it. We don't take it for granted. Go follow your boy at I am Sedacious on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Let's go, gang.
Yeah, man. So we're not going to play around. Normally, we get to football towards the end of the show and trying to say the best for last, but we didn't air last week, which was following right after the Super Bowl. So we're going to get straight into Super Bowl conversation. It has all come to an end. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, they defeated the Philadelphia Eagles to keep the, I don't say keep, but bring the Super Bowl championship back to the AFC. Patrick Mahomes, what greatness, what greatness, what greatness. Chiefs win it. How did you feel about the game? What was your takeaway from the game? Anything surprised
you? That reminded me of a certain guy that's on TV that kind of does that long sigh before he starts. That's actually funny. I did that. If you know, you know. But man, it was a great game, man. Not only was it historic because it was two black quarterbacks starting for the first time ever. But it was just a naturally a great game, right, from start to finish. Two high-power offenses, allegedly going up against a high-power defense in the Philadelphia Eagles, which you didn't really see. A team that led the league in sacks by a long shot. Didn't get one sack the whole night. So just a game of will by two great quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts had a phenomenal game besides the fumble, I believe, in the second quarter that I believe kind of opened the game up in favor for the Chiefs. But, you know, one could argue that they still were in an advantageous situation because they were up 10 at halftime. But as we all know, you know, Mr. Walkdown himself, you know, no league is too much. You know, no league is, you know, untouchable. It's not unattainable. It's not impossible when 15 is on the field. So, you know, I call them PM 15. You know, you take your Advil PM before you go to sleep, man, because it's over with. It's night. You know, he's by the surest thing in sports right now in the fourth quarter at the end of games, as we've seen at the quarterback position up until this point. So, you know, a great game. But as they say, the kids, you know, no script talk. You know, they tried to leak the script, you know, but, you know, the Chiefs ended up pulling it out, man, 38-35. Great game.
Yeah, I like to
Oh, yeah.
piggyback on what you said.
And I
Well,
and
go
I
ahead, bro.
picked them. And I picked them in the beginning of the season. I just want to.
That was the main thing, bro. That was the engine.
That was like literally the main thing, right? Like
that was the thesis of the monologue. I picked him
that
before
was the
all
thesis.
y'all.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I picked him.
Yeah, man. It's like almost like I know like magic or something. Like I know the future or something. It's crazy, man. Spirit of intuition, man.
Sorry, not to cut you off, brother, but to piggyback off what you said, I think, and first I want to thank the pre-production team because this question was brought up pre-podcast. And the pre-production team is us, by the way. We're our own pre-production team. Cat's out the bag. But anyway, the question was, where was the key turning point in the game? And like Shahar said, that fumble was it. And you could tell that Jalen Hurts felt it. Even when he came back on the field and threw a touchdown the next drive. Like you can tell when he threw the touchdown, he ain't celebrated nothing. He was like, but yeah, for me, that's why I feel like the won or loss. I feel like that's where the game was lost by Philadelphia, but also won by Kansas City. And after that, everything else just kind of stayed balanced. Jalen Hurts stayed doing his thing. Patrick was going to do what he was going to do. And you can't have that to happen and Patrick have a fumble and his defense be on for real.
Unsung hero, to add on to what you're saying, a guy who easily could have won Super Bowl MVP, had one of those fumble recoveries, been a touchdown, and that's linebacker number 32, Nick Bolton, who had a hell of a game. He could have had 2 touchdowns, 2 defensive touchdowns, 2 scooping scores. One of them got called back, which I think was hogwash.
Me too. Exactly.
Complete BS. But
should have got
you know, yeah, man. Shout out to Nick Bolton because they said the Chiefs defense wouldn't be that much of a factor, and they really were. So, want to give him his flowers.
Before you go deep, I just wanted to point out that you identically predicted the score of the Super Bowl 38-35. However, you picked the Eagles to win.
Yes, that's true. In this case, man, I just feel like the I think it was the '70s Boston Celtics used to say, this was a game that just time won. I feel like props to the Chiefs for sure, but I feel like time won. I feel like and one more possession, one more opportunity, Philadelphia could have very well won that game. And I mean, it's not to take away from the Chiefs at all. It's just like that's how good the game was. That's how competitive it was. You know, despite the whole turnover fiasco with Jalen Hurts, man, like I want to give a lot of praise to Patrick Mahomes, and I still do because he did carry that offense. But it's like I still gotta highlight Jalen Hurts, man. Like, man, like what a performance! 3 rushing touchdowns by the quarterback himself, taking things to his own hands. Multiple fourth down conversions. I mean, salute to Patrick, but don't forget about my boy Jalen, straight H-Town.
You know, it's funny. I'm glad you said that, Darnell, because what's funny is I really felt that same way. And I've been playing chess lately. And so sometimes when you're playing chess, all of the pieces are off the board and you come down to just the 2 kings, right?
The end game.
Right. So in chess, when those 2 pieces come down to each other, just the last 2 kings left on the board, there could be a stalemate, right? But in this game, you give a king a queen, and all you have is Jalen Hurts on the chessboard. I'm sorry, there's a checkmate somewhere in the area. You know what I mean? So that fumble to me was like giving Patrick Mahomes a queen on the chessboard when it's just 2 kings. You know what I mean? But Jalen Hurts definitely, you know what I'm saying? And the Eagles definitely brought a good game. It's just, you can't do that. You can't have a turnover against Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. It can't happen.
I would say I disagree that the turning point was the fumble. I think the fumble by Jalen Hurts, it was kind of like a hindsight 2020. And though he did fumble, they still went into the half up 24-14, right? So it's just like, and like you said, he came back the very next drive and he scored. So he kind of, to a degree, made up for his mistake, right? You still get a 24-14 lead cushion going into the second half. Where I feel like, and I texted in the group chat, where I feel like the turning point of the game was where Jalen Hurts, when he really needed to score, so to speak, the Chiefs are down 24-14. They come out, they get the ball first, they go up the field, they score, and now they're down 21-14. Eagles get the ball, they don't score a touchdown, they kick a field goal, and now they're only up 27-21, which gives the Chiefs the ball back with a chance to take the lead. I texted in the group chat, I was like, I really feel like they needed a touchdown on this drive instead of selling for a field goal, because I feel like that added to the momentum and the fuel of the Kansas City Chiefs. And lo and behold, 5 possessions, 5 touchdowns. The Eagles settled for that field goal at 27-21 lead. Patrick Mahomes, they did what they did, came and took the lead at 28, took the lead and went up 28-27. And so something else that I've been paying attention to, I actually came across it recently, is that it looked like, you talk about respecting the game. Sometimes not all aspects of the football game are like caught with like the naked eye live on camera in the course of the game. But with the Kadarius Toney punt return to the goal line, still early in the fourth quarter, it appears that like, yo, this is just a great play by Kadarius Toney. While yes, it is, but not a lot of people pointed this out, and I give credit to the podcast, the Raw Room or the War Room. I know his last name is Bates, linebacker with the Titans, but they were talking about the Eagles punter. He blew the coverage in the sense that he was supposed to punt the ball to the left, because as the special teams players, as the ball was snapped, all the pressure was shifting towards the left side of the field to like field it there or like contain whoever caught it, right? So the punter kicks the ball, but the ball goes right where Kadarius Toney is at. So all these Eagle players their positioning is going towards the left side of the field, the left pocket of the field, but then they have to look and like, oh, the ball actually went on the right side and Kadarius Toney already has it. So it kind of just throws off like your scheme of like containment in terms of punting. And so like they pointed that out specifically, which I appreciated, because like the punter could be easily swept under the rug as like, whatever, it was a punt. Like you punt and you try to stop the person from getting a punt. But in respecting the game, there's field positioning and technique that you go about on a kickoff return or a punt return to make sure like you don't give up that much yardage, on a punt return to get the offense build field position. And so, and that happened right after the Chiefs took the lead. The Eagles didn't respond, and then they had to make that punt. Granted, this is still, at this point, it's still at the 10-minute mark, still early in the fourth, but like those two sequences, like consecutively, I think put the Eagles in like a hole. And I felt like if they had to start to play from behind, I feel like they may have not been able to stand the test of times, which necessarily wasn't the case because they still tied the game, right? But Patrick Mahomes, and then you could talk about the penalty too on Juju Smith-Schuster. But yeah, I would say the Eagles not scoring that touchdown and settling for that field goal to open up the second half, I think fueled the momentum for the Chiefs to be able to like, all right, now it's time to play. Now it's time to play. But yeah, great game nonetheless. And like I don't think you can ask Jalen Hurts to play any greater, obviously minus the fumble. But that's just one of those you get hung on a 0.5 with prize picks and the old horseshoes and hand grenades, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, but no, 1,010% great Super Bowl. Man, Patrick Mahomes is him. Patrick Mahomes is him, and I think Patrick Mahomes has put himself on this trajectory of LeBron. And
Wait, so to that, I'm sorry, I just thought. So to that,
I don't know if it's LeBron's trajectory. I think it's more like no disrespect to LeBron. It's more like a Kobe or a MJ trajectory in the sense of, and I won't even say MJ is really a Kobe trajectory because Kobe won early, right? Kobe won those first 3 championships, relatively speaking, pretty early in his career. I want to even say in the first in the first 5 years, right? Because Kobe
he
comes in the
won
league
like
in
his first one in
96,
like
2000.
Yeah, I want to say
in his 4th year.
I want to say he won it in his 3rd year with Shaq, but maybe it was his 4th. But he won early nonetheless.
It was yeah. Nonetheless, it was early, but man, you talking about just a rarefied air to where you could only be measured up against the greatest of all time because as it currently stands, if Patrick Mahomes doesn't play another down of football, he's the third best, he's the third greatest quarterback of all time right now, as it currently stands. Behind Tom Brady and Joe Montana.
Okay. What was you gonna say, Dave? I want to come back to that. Is what was you gonna say, Dave?
So I feel that and I respect that. But then I think to myself, the second half is really where the game started. Right? So
I won't even say that's where it starts. I'll just say in respecting the game is all about it's a game of halves.
And how you started, how you finished.
So check it out. So check it out, because you got to know that there's a reason why the Chiefs can be down early and they come back and win games. They adjust. And when they adjust, you pretty much effed, right? So in my mind, is how I feel. I believe that Jalen Hurts knows and understands that this is one of the best team after adjustments in the league. And that fumble is like a field goal that you missed that come back to haunt you in the end, right? So don't get me wrong, yeah, I know all the sequences, yeah, I feel that. But you leave that door open when you are not keeping your foot on their neck, instead losing the ball. So that's just how I feel about it. You know what I mean? It's just I get where you at and I understand, but it's just like, nah, bro, you know you can't play with Patrick.
Every play counts. Every play counts against Patrick Mahomes.
You know what I mean? So when you lost by one at the end of the game and got to give up the sticks because you missed that field goal, you feel that.
Yeah, I with you. So I say Patrick Mahomes is on the trajectory of a LeBron James with these variables in mind, right? I know you made mention of Kobe. So LeBron he was great early. I won't say necessarily began to win early because obviously he went through
great comparison. I see where you're going with it.
He went through his woes, but nonetheless, bona fide great, super early, right, in his career, right? I wouldn't compare him to Kobe because Kobe, as great as he was a replica of Michael Jordan. Where LeBron's greatness comes into play is that we've never seen anything like Michael Jordan, or we never seen anything like. We've never seen anything like LeBron James. We ain't never seen nothing like Patrick Mahomes. I haven't personally. We never seen nothing like Patrick Mahomes. And
I'm just gonna disrespect my
boy. And then he. Not only have you never seen nothing like a LeBron James and a Patrick Mahomes, they've put themselves in a position to where when they have started winning, you looked at the East at a point in time and it's just like, yo, this is LeBron's league for like the next 10 years because who's going to knock him out of the East? You look at a Patrick Mahomes and a Andy Reid and a Travis Kelce and the pieces that they got and what they building. And mind you, with that defense that got them to the Super Bowl, they had the most snaps by rookies of any team this season. So they got a young core that they can still cultivate. And so you look at that and you're just like, yo, who truly, not to say it ain't no dogs in the league or the AFC, shout out to Joey Crack. Who we expect to just like dethrone Patrick Mahomes? You know what I'm saying?
I don't see him.
Right. And so when you start to think about that, it's just like, okay,
what you mean? We don't see nobody messing with PNP. Nobody in the league. Right. Not Josh Allen, year after year, they want to say, oh, but Josh Allen's strong on me. No. Josh Allen proved to be a choke artist in crunch time.
He has the personal greatness, and then he has all the talent around him to have as much longevity as Tom Brady potentially, right? And even if he doesn't reach that plateau of that 7th ring, right? People like he's like, oh well, Brian, he only got 5, or he only got 4. It's like, but Patrick Mahomes could very well much go to like 8, 9, 10, like Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying?
I give a better comparison, even though it's an older player.
I'll
say Magic Johnson.
I thought you were going to take it. Oh, what?
I'll say Magic Johnson, minus the BS. Because as soon as Magic Johnson touched the court, he went to an NBA championship. You know what I'm saying? He kept going to the NBA championships and kept being a name. And it was one of those things where he changed the game with his style of play. LeBron technically didn't change the game. He did, but not with his style of play.
He changed
not with his style.
I would disagree.
Magic did, but not LeBron. LeBron maximized basketball. He didn't come out and say, "Oh, I'm gonna start playing this certain kind of way." Like,
bro,
what
LeBron,
did LeBron?
I don't know about that. Make him easy.
Look at
what I'm saying is like just like how Magic came out and brought flair and brought fun to the game. LeBron, like, fun and dunking and threes and post ups were already maximum.
But they're like one and the same because they both Braun and Magic are like one and the same because they live off involving their teammates and elevating their teammates.
True, but what I'm saying is like there was nobody before him, before Magic. LeBron, like LeBron is like the second coming of Magic times 2, however you want to put it. Like there was no Patrick before.
LeBron is not the second coming of Magic. Magic ain't LeBron James. Let's get that completely understood. As great as Magic Johnson was, being able to play the 5 in the championship early as a rookie and everything, I get it. He can't play 1 through 5 like LeBron James, though. Like, hey, that's like, I've never seen nobody be able to be as dominant as they want to be,
and
1 through 5. LeBron can literally play any position at an extremely high level and be a Hall of Famer at that position.
That's not the point that I'm trying to make.
I don't want to get away from Patrick Mahomes.
Me neither.
But yeah.
So keep talking about it.
Your stuff, you got the effect.
I got you.
But yeah, I believe Patrick Mahomes is on a trajectory of consecutive Super Bowl appearances and obviously the hardware as LeBron James was early in his career. What about big 3-0? Steph? No, because Steph was not him very early. He dealt with injury. He was injury prone early. So
he was not Emerson. No.
So for me, because y'all going stats and all that. I don't. I would go stats with y'all tonight, but y'all done win stats already. So I don't want to go stats. I want to go just being a little boy, and this is what I do with my brain because I was young-minded, just for fantasy's sakes, right? It has nothing to do with stats and all of that what y'all talking about, right? So look, this is what I'm gonna do. So for me, Joe Montana would be Jordan. Tom Brady would be LeBron. Peyton Manning, for me, would be Kobe. And Steph would be Patrick. That's just, how this, no stats, no nothing like that.
Yeah. In your world, I ain't mad at you. I'll let you do your thing.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, hey, that's how I feel. I feel like when niggas is playing the Chiefs, it's like when niggas is playing the Warriors. It's not gonna happen because they got that guy, and you're not gonna beat that guy.
So, speaking of LeBron, yeah, I hope y'all thoroughly enjoyed that Super Bowl conversation. It's probably gonna be half the show, but it's very well much so deserved to be half the show. So we're gonna cross over since talking about LeBron. We're gonna go to the NBA, right? A lot of NBA trades. The biggest NBA trade was the 4-team trade that occurred what game was that? I don't know. I just remember waking up in the middle of my sleep and saying breaking news: Kevin Durant is going to Phoenix Suns. So the Phoenix Suns, they get Kevin Durant and TJ Warren, and all they had to give up was a couple of draft picks, and in addition to Mikal Bridges and Cameron Johnson. Is it championship or bust at this point?
Yeah. I mean, you got KD, D Book, Paul George, DeAndre Ayton. You was able to keep all those pieces. Still got Pam Johnson or Cam Johnson? Which one?
Cam Johnson.
Yeah, still got Cam Johnson. He's a dog.
No, Cam Johnson got traded with
Mikal
Bridges. Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges got traded.
Oh man, that hurt. That hurt. But still, you got KD, DeAndre, D Book, Paul George. Make it work. We paid all y'all.
Yeah.
Paul George.
Sorry, Paul. Chris Paul.
Chris Paul.
They both got two first names.
Yeah, let me jump in here. So when Mikal Bridges got traded to the Nets, the man put up a 45 piece. Needless to say, I think he's going to be a surprisingly budding star, and he's going to have that large role and room to grow. And that's something I didn't see up until this year. When I started to see when Devin Booker went down, Mikal Bridges consistently putting up 20 plus a night effortlessly and playing great defense, all while not missing a game. That was like a telltale sign, like, man, when he's up for an extension, he's going to demand around that neighborhood of that Jordan Poole money, especially when you get mentioned for Defensive Player of the Year. He's setting himself up very nicely.
Yeah, he to me, he been special, bro. I really hated that Devin Booker and Chris Paul could not show up for him because during that whole time, he played his heart out. Him and a couple of them other role players, but it is what it is. You're right, man. I agree. He's gonna be a star.
Speaking of Mikal Bridges, drop hard real quick, D. Speaking of Mikal Bridges dropping the 40 ball, getting traded, still playing spectacular, D. Head coach Jack Vaughn just got the extension for the Brooklyn Nets. So there's a bit of chemistry forming there with the Brooklyn Nets now that they didn't got everybody, Kyrie, James Harden, and KD out. So yeah, I just want to throw that footnote that the current head coach Jack Vaughn has gotten a contract extension for the Brooklyn Nets as the head coach.
I remember calling the Nets and the Lakers in the finals when they made that trade. That did not happen. It never happened.
It was always a sign.
I think somebody said this. Somebody said that it was full of crap. This guy. But I definitely would give. To answer your question, Emac. This was definitely a championship or bust moment for the Suns, and I feel like this works out for both parties. I give both a solid A. I say because right now they're top 3 in the West right now, the Suns, and I feel like Brooklyn has at least five years if they keep going in this direction of success, not championship, but just positive success.
All right,
yes, sir.
So I'm gonna make these footnotes just for the sake of time, so people hear them in case we don't get to them. Where did it go? We already did the episode on Kyrie going to Dallas, but other key trades that you may have went past people. Eric Gordon traded from the Rockets to the Los Angeles Clippers. John Wall unfortunately got traded back to the Rockets. I hate to see that for you, my brother. He's probably going to do a buyout deal. Russell Westbrook got traded to the Jazz, I believe it was, but that was a buyout, and now he's reportedly, if not already, contract sealed.
He's with the Clippers.
Going to the Clippers, correct? Then you had another Phoenix Sun and Jay Crowder, who didn't want to be with the Phoenix Suns. He got traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks had been excited and been wanting to get him. We may come to them, but I want to stay on this. I have a question for the Suns, but also for the Los Angeles Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers got rid of Patrick Beverley. They got rid of, obviously, Russell Westbrook. I think oh,
Unloading.
what is it? Who did they received Mo Bamba in a trade, Devin Reed.
No.
Then they also got D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt. Uh, so so that's who the Lakers picked up. A sleeper pick, I think that I like. I like the Raptors getting Jakob Portal from the Spurs going to the Raptors, and a move. I like the move, but I don't like it on the team personally. I like. Uh, where did you go? Where did you go? Where did you go? Where did you go? I like Luke Kennard. He was with the Clippers, and now he's with the Grizzlies. I don't know if the Grizzlies are going to like really like utilize him because Luke Kennard is like he's a bucket getter. So
He low key should probably start, but
that's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? They probably gonna have the blind
they
faith
gonna
and
start trash
tenacity,
Dylan Brooks.
right?
But I ain't gonna lie,
What
he'll
they're gonna
run
do
good
is
with
they're gonna
second unit with
notice
Tyus
that
Jones
Bane
though.
has issues,
What you
and
say
also the
about it?
fact that Bane gets in foul trouble and can be a streaky shooter.
Right? Yeah.
So he can definitely help out with that.
Yeah, and also I just have to do this just to be petty. Have to do this to be petty. Yeah, the Lakers had also got Hoochie. How do I correctly pronounce his name? Rui Hachimura. I forget how to correctly pronounce his name.
Yeah, Rui Hachimura.
Yeah, okay, Rui Hachimura. Where is it at? I'm trying to be petty, or not even petty, more so bitter. Patrick Beverly leaving the Lakers. He just
So happy,
Chicago
my Lakers
Bulls.
look like a breath of fresh air, man. Golly. 16 in the West, I'm calling it.
You said what now?
16 in the West. Nobody want to play us.
So we talk about this point guard being a point guard. We talk about this point guard being an absolute winner. He got to the mountaintop, but he did not claim a championship.
So how's
that being Chris Paul. That being Chris Paul, we talk about him, getting burnt out late into the playoffs, and it's always an injury here or there. Couldn't get it done with the Rockets. Didn't get it done when they got to the finals. Didn't get it done with the Clippers.
Repeat theme here.
Chris Paul now has Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. There's going to be several narratives, right? If they lose, the narrative is going to be you expect old Chris Paul to I mean, he's still starting. Y'all still calling him great.
No excuse.
He's still not gonna get it done.
How does this affect, if any at all, Chris Paul's basketball legacy if he does not get it done with Chris, or if he does not get it done with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant? Do we restructure the conversation of top 5 point guards all the time?
Wow. That's what they saying? Chris Paul, top 5 all time?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think you get the name point guard if you ain't top 5 all the time.
That is true, because I got Magic, Steph, Isaiah, John. We really ready to put Chris right there?
And we had the conversations about J. Kidd.
No, I'm not putting him there.
Hey, dang. I ain't gonna lie, Chris Paul, he gotta be. Topic, man. That's another 10. Conversation up for another day. He definitely top 10.
So I'm not going 5.
Top point guards all time. Like the reason that's so hard to do because you have different types of point guards.
Traditional.
So you have your traditional floor general. You have a lead combo guard who just plays point. Right? Are we talking about the traditional? If we just talking about floor general, yes, he's top 5. In the traditional sense of point guard leading the team, he's definitely top 5. And that I would have Magic, John, Isaiah, Chris. You got to just put Steph in there because 4-time champion, best shooter
Steph
ever.
goes either way.
You
Traditional combo.
You can't not put him really, and he really can be 2 on that list, and that ain't.
Is he the true point guard?
Hmm.
Is
he the real true point guard?
No, because, and I say no, as great as Steph is, and he's the greatest shooter ever. Again, if we're talking about the traditional sense of being a floor general, greatest Steph is, he's never led the league in assists. Never even been top 3. I don't think he's ever finished top 5. So, again, he's a true combo lead guard playing point guard. Who can play make, right? But at his core, Steph Curry is about a bucket, like point blank, period.
Yeah, we didn't get whiff of him at Davis then.
So what list you putting together? Floor general list?
Yeah, and I don't think
he's not in there.
Yeah, he's not on the floor general list. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, I think to a certain degree he's a floor general. Me personally,
he is. He can operate in a floor general capacity for sure. But
let's not get away from Chris Paul.
Right. Is he top 5 all time?
If they don't win this year or win during the stretch of, because I respect the game in terms of having chemistry and maybe needing a year and a half. But if Chris Paul doesn't win a championship constructed with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, does his legacy take a hit in any way, if at all?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Take a hit a little bit because you got to win.
That, bro, because my 5 is Jason Kidd. And the reason why it isn't Steve Nash is because Jason Kidd got a title with Dirk.
Steve Nash got 2 back-to-back MVPs, bro. That's tough. Is Steve Nash top 10 all time?
No, top 5.
Why not?
Yeah. Obviously, there's the asterisk on the MVP because we all feel some type of way about Kobe and I get it. But
definitely, Kobe could have got it. He should have got it.
Chris Paul have an MVP?
No.
Have a championship?
No.
One that's you at least have one of those 2 things in order to be
top 5.
Top 5. Period.
So Russell Westbrook,
at least one of those point guard.
So Stockton not top 5.
To be considered multiple appearances in the finals. I'll give that. That's like the final thing. Like you gotta have multiple. You can't just go there once and just make an appearance. You gotta be like competitive enough.
John Stockton can be interchanged with Steve Nash.
No, he can't because John Stockton leads the league in all-time assists, and that's essentially what being a point guard is about. Setting up your teammates and making them better.
You can switch those 2, and Chris Paul still ain't got no room in top 5.
What you mean, bro? Chris Paul top 5 in assists.
No, I'm talking about top 5 point guard.
He's like number 3.
I'm saying though, like, okay, so we gotta table that because that was a lot of point guard conversation. So we don't have a point guard. We don't have a point guard. That's coming soon. Point guard, respect the game podcast dedicated to top 5 point guards, top 5 athletic point guards all time, top 5 floor generals, top 5 overall. You just mark you as a point guard. We're gonna have all 3 of those because there's so many different types of point guards, bro. Love the game, bro. Love that.
So
John Stockton has 15,000.
That's like nuts.
Plus assists. Right behind him is Jason Kidd with 12,000 assists. Then you got Chris Paul at 11,000 assists. And then LeBron James at 10,360 assists. And right behind him, who was actually probably more of a point guard, LeBron James has more assists than Steve Nash.
Come on, bro. Like LeBron realistically ain't top
So
5 point guard all time.
and get this, Magic isn't even top 5 in assists. You got,
but we all recognize Magic as the best point guard ever.
As the point guard.
But that's come on now. That's we know why.
Yeah, you got Stockton 1, Jason Kidd 2, Chris Paul 3, LeBron James 4, Steve Nash 5. Nobody really talks about him, but respect is due. Mark Jackson at 6. With all due respect.
With all due respect, I'd hit that out of the park.
What was Jerry West?
Was a 2.
Oh my God.
Jerry West, big combo guard,
lead
guard, 2 guard.
But yeah, man. So that's what's up with the trades in the NBA. We'll see how things shake out for the NBA the second half of the season. And with that, beautiful people, we're going to get out of here. Thank y'all for tuning in. Real quick before we go, I don't know if you are listening, but we're going to shout you out because we know you was in the comments messing with us on our conversation from the part last week when we were was having a conversation about Jay Prince and Offset, and definitely shout out to respectfully. Yeah, definitely shout out to all y'all who have been watching. We got all our back catalog from a little bit late last year all the way up until now, fully uploaded for y'all to go overindulge in and and listen to from past conversations, past sports topics, past culture topics. But shout out to Yin, who gave us a comment on the Jay Prince and Offset conversation, basically saying it boils down to power. With that being said, do not play with Jay Prince or count him improperly. He is aware of his power and he has utilized it with his guidelines so he can flex all day. So shout out to you, Yin, for messing with us and supporting us and getting in the comments. But yeah, beautiful people, this is what you call a great episode, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. We do not take y'all listening to us and watching us for granted. Again, all back catalog of podcasts is fully uploaded. YouTube, Spotify, Google Play, Apple Playlists, Apple Podcasts, where we listen to your podcast from. You can get us. Follow Black Peace at Black.Peace, me at Emax Stacks. Make sure throughout the rest of the week you're shining hard and go follow at Shine Hard Izzo. And make sure you also follow Sedacious at I Am Sedacious. We love you, beautiful people, and we will see you next week.